Good morning, guys. This video is about Gonzalo Lira, also known as Coach Red Pill. And in this video I have to make a statement that I was wrong about him not being in Ukraine. I made a video in October where I discussed Gonzalo Lira and his good sides and his many bad sides. And in that video I argued that he couldn't possibly be in Ukraine because he'd get arrested by the authorities for spreading pro-war, pro-Putin, anti-Ukrainian propaganda, which he does. And yeah, I was wrong, because now there is a released video of the SBU, the Ukrainian security forces, actually detaining him, arresting him. And yeah, he obviously was in Kharkiv. Maybe not all this time, but at the time of his arrest, he obviously was there. They showed his balcony, they showed a little bit of his apartment, his belongings. It looked very filthy and dirty and disgusting, so as he did. And but I guess you can't blame him for having like a dirty apartment, because the country is in a war. And yeah, I mean, maybe you can't blame people for not having the cleanliest homes in a situation of a very nasty war. So anyway, I was wrong. He was in Ukraine, but who knows where he's been during all this time, from the start of the war until now. And I repeat my previous claim that there is absolutely zero proof that he was arrested for the first time. This is now arguably the second time. And because there is no video footage, no proof at all of him being arrested the first time. And but that doesn't matter so much now. Yeah, I mean, there's all these claims going around the block that he was arrested the first time, blah blah blah, I'm in Ukraine, blah blah blah, but there was simply no proof at all. At least no proof that I've seen. And if there was any proof, serious proof, then why wasn't that proof more widespread? Anyway, it doesn't matter now. Now he's facing very serious charges of spreading his war propaganda, his anti-Ukrainian propaganda. And I mean, these charges are real. I mean, the guy doesn't seem to understand or have understood that he was in a country in a full-blown war. And now his fans on the internet are like, oh, poor Gonzalo, he's been arrested for speaking out, no freedom of speech, blah blah blah. I mean, don't they realize that Ukraine is in a full-blown war, or do they like actively look away from it? I mean, it's the biggest war in Europe since Second World War, and I mean, don't you just understand that you can't say whatever you want to say? There's like wartime laws at being enforced and being active. I mean, you can't run around in a war, in a country at war, and doing whatever you want and saying whatever you want, especially not like actively propagating against the government of that country that's trying to keep the country alive and defending the Ukraine in this case from a full-blown genocidal invasion war from Russia. But he seems to have believed that these laws were not pertaining to him, or yeah, so I think the guy just lost his wits, his brains. And now he's gonna face the consequences of that. And I really hope that the law enforcement and the courts in Ukraine, in Kharkiv, is gonna punish him to the full extent of the law for what he has done under these wartime conditions, because that's what he deserves. He's not a journalist. He's not like a pundit or he's a full-blown propagandist, and you can't be that in a country at war. At least not for the enemy's side, the enemy that's invading you and trying to genocide you and take your country by violence. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people have died on each side, militaries and civilians alike, especially in Ukraine. And you think that you're gonna run around and say whatever you want and actively support the enemy who's invading you, that's trying to genocide you, that are genociding you. Gonzalo Lira, aka Coach Red Pill, he seems to have believed that he could do that. And now, I mean, there is so much proof that he has put out. All his videos, all his talks, they are out there. These are crimes under Ukrainian wartime laws. But Gonzalo Lira just seems not to fucking get it. But now I think he's gonna get it. I thought he was in Russia, I thought he was in Poland, Hungary, Holland, whatever, doing his his hate-filled, bile-filled videos. I mean, I thought he can't possibly be in Kharkiv because he'd get arrested. But for some reason, the authorities let him have his way, let him be for all this time, which is much more than a year. It's like a year and 3 months. I don't know, this is just batshit crazy. So yeah, now I hope, as I said before, I'm saying it again for the last time, I hope he's gonna face the full force of the law with the wartime laws for his deeds, his actions, his spreading of propaganda. That's the long and short of it. He's been spreading stuff that is highly illegal to spread during a war. Like all these bloggers and YouTubers and pundits, they seem to not realize, or they just act like there is not a war going on. But batshit crazy. And Gonzalo Lira, I hope he's gonna find himself in Ukrainian prison for the next 5 to 8 years. Yeah, he really deserves it. So that's all I have to say. Fuck around and find out. It's a pity. As I've said before, he was kind of an interesting person during his Coach Red Pill career. His early videos were the best, those from 2017, 2018, where he talked about, let's say, not so political stuff, like more managing your life and going through life, the different stages of your life. But then he quickly got into hateful, misogynistic stuff, and that was the end of him. Now he's nothing. He's ever since the beginning of the war, and even before the war, he's nothing anymore. He's just a hull. He's just a husk of a man. And he's a zero. And for me, Gonzalo Lira is nothing now. He was somebody in Coach Red Pill. He was a unique and interesting channel, but you had to pick your cherries, so to speak. But now he's just nothing. I just hope he ends up in jail and he's gonna sit there for a very long time. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.